Saturday night in Chicago. The United Center is loud, the scoreboard is close, and Caitlin Clark is doing what she does best, carving up a defense that has no answer for her. The Indiana Fever are locked in a battle with the Chicago Sky, and with every possession, the tension in the building seems to climb. But nobody in that arena knows that in just a few hours, a single whistle is about to set off a chain of events that will have an entire fan base holding its breath. It's the third quarter. Clark drives, loses her footing after a bump from Sky defender Natasha Cloud, and stumbles out of bounds, right into the path of an official. It's a fraction of a second, a blink, but the referee sees it differently. She calls it intentional. And just like that, the whistle blows for a technical foul. Clark's 8th of the season. For most players, an 8th technical is just a footnote. But under WNBA rules, it's a trigger, a landmine. 8 technical fouls in a season means an automatic one-game suspension, no exceptions, no second chances. And that means one thing: if this call stands, Caitlin Clark is not playing Tuesday night against the New York Liberty. The Fever's franchise player, their engine, their reason for being in the national spotlight, benched, by rule, over a moment that lasted less than a second. The game keeps going. The Fever grind out a win, 90-86. But the real drama hasn't even started yet. Because Clark isn't having it. Moments after the final buzzer, with the win barely secured, she's already making her case to reporters. She insists the contact was nothing, an accident, a byproduct of losing her balance, not some act of defiance toward an official. She's calm, but there's an edge to her voice. She's already watched the replay. She knows what the tape shows. And she says it herself. She's hoping, praying almost, that the league steps in and wipes this thing away. But Clark isn't the only one fuming. Fever head coach Stephanie White is boiling over. She picked up her own technical foul in the chaos of the night, not for touching an official, but for her language while arguing the call. And when she gets to the podium, she doesn't hold back. She lets everyone know exactly how she feels about the officiating crew, about the double standards she believes she's watching unfold in real time, about a game where far worse language had been flying around all night without a single whistle. She calls it a bad call. She says incidental contact, in the middle of a player losing control of her own momentum, should never have been treated as a violation. She says the officials had a responsibility to read the moment, and they failed. And she doesn't stop there. White tells reporters, flatly, that the Fever are appealing. This isn't going to be quiet. This isn't going to be forgotten by morning shoot-around. The team is drawing a line in the sand. Now the clock is ticking. Somewhere in a WNBA office, a group of league officials are about to sit down with game footage and make a decision that will ripple across the entire season. Do they let the call stand and sideline the most talked-about player in the league for a nationally relevant matchup against a Liberty team just one game behind them in the standings? Or do they admit that, in real time, under pressure, in a split second, the official got it wrong? Fans don't know. Reporters don't know. Even inside the Fever locker room, there's no certainty. All anyone can do is wait. And then, barely 2 hours after the final whistle, word starts to spread. The WNBA has made its decision. The technical foul is rescinded. Just like that, the landmine is diffused. Caitlin Clark will not be suspended. She will not miss Tuesday's game. The one-game ban, the $1,500 fine, the disruption to a Fever team fighting to hold its position in a crowded playoff race, all of it evaporates in a league statement. It's a stunning turnaround. A call that stood confidently in the moment, defended by the crew chief who insisted Clark intentionally sought out contact with the official, reversed within hours, as if the league itself is admitting the pressure of the moment got the better of the officiating crew. For Clark, it's vindication. For White, it's confirmation of everything she just said at that podium. And for the Fever organization, it's relief. Because losing Caitlin Clark for even one game, especially with the stakes rising as they push through the second half of the season, could have been the kind of gut punch that derails momentum at exactly the wrong time. But this wasn't the only storm brewing that night in Chicago, because earlier in the same game, tempers had already flared in a much more physical way. Late in the first quarter, Sky guard De'Jonai Carrington delivered a hard, aggressive foul on Fever guard Sophie Cunningham as she attempted a layup. It wasn't a routine foul. It was the kind of collision that sends a jolt through both benches, the kind that makes players jump up from their seats and officials scramble to get control of the situation before it spirals. The physicality between these two teams has been simmering all season, and this was just the latest flashpoint. So by the time Clark picked up her 8th technical in the third quarter, this game already had an edge to it. Officials weren't just managing a basketball game anymore. They were trying to manage emotion, physicality, and a rivalry that keeps threatening to boil over every time these two teams share the floor. And that's exactly why the technical foul controversy hit as hard as it did. It wasn't an isolated incident. It was the flashpoint of a night already loaded with tension, a night where officiating decisions were under a microscope from the opening tip. In the end, though, the story comes back to Caitlin Clark, because whether people love her or resent the attention she brings, every call involving her gets amplified. Every whistle becomes a headline. And on this particular Saturday night, a fraction of a second stumble nearly cost the league's most scrutinized player a game until the league itself hit undo. Now, all eyes turn to Tuesday. Clark will be on the floor. The Fever will host the Liberty with a real shot to gain ground in the standings. And the questions about officiating consistency, about how technical fouls are being called against the WNBA's biggest star, are not going away anytime soon. Because in a league where every possession is scrutinized and every whistle sparks debate, this was never just about one foul. It was a reminder of just how much power a single split-second decision can hold, and how quickly that power can be taken right back.